Welcome to today's virtual company showroom with the Swiss consulting company Argusa. Today, we not only have a company representative who will talk to us, but we have actually CERN alumni working at Argusa who will be giving the presentation. For the moment, we have with us Fatima Soomro, who is head of operations at Argusa. And we hope that perhaps Luca Pescatore, who is another alumnus and is currently head of technology, will manage to join us towards the end as well. So without further ado, Fatima, I leave the floor to you. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Simona. Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. Please signal to me if you cannot hear well or if my connection is unstable. So yes, I'm Fatima Soomro. I used to work at CERN at the LHCb experiment, and I quit physics in 2015 to go into business intelligence. It was almost an accident, but I like it. So I accidentally fell into the correct field. Right now, I have been working with Argusa for about 4 years. I joined the company in 2018. And I will present to you what we do, and also we can discuss a bit what we are looking for in terms of new employees and members of our team. So, so the company is called Argusa, and we are based in Le Mans-sur-Lausanne, which is near Lausanne, if you know the region. But we are a consulting company, and we have clients all over the region between Lausanne and Geneva. So we are quite flexible and we travel. So let me start with the challenge. Why does the company exist? So the idea of the founder of Argusa, who is not here with us today, but his name is Comany. He has like 25 years of experience in this field of BI, and he has been noticing that teams are always asked, talking about IT, of course, teams are always asked to do more, deliver more projects, deliver more stuff quicker and with the same resources. So the team members, the number of team members is not increasing, but the bosses are asking for more and more stuff. So the idea was, well, okay, why don't we give them tools to be more efficient? And like this, we don't actually have to keep inflating the team, or we think we need to keep inflating the team, but at some point you just need the right tools. And so he started looking into what would be the tools that would be appropriate for the challenges that he was seeing in the business intelligence sector. I'm going to say BI for the rest of the talk. So he said, okay, we have these challenges, and what he wanted to do, and this is also our goal at Argusa in general, is give to our customers the right tools and also the right organization. I will talk a bit later in the detail, but just buying a tool, buying a software product is not enough. Implementing it and how you implement it and govern it is as important. So his idea, the idea of our company is to empower the IT of the IT department of the company, to give them the tools and software products that make them more efficient, and also empower the business users. So in a company, there's the IT department, but the IT department is kind of the infrastructure. They give you the tools. The one who uses is the business people, the people who are doing the daily ins and out of the company. And we also need to empower them. So the tool has to be complex enough to respond to the problem, but so easy enough for the business user to use it. Otherwise, they are totally dependent on the IT, and this is not our idea, to make people dependent on the IT. So our focus, obviously, we cannot treat the entire company. We only treat the part that has to do with data. So we can help companies when they have a problem or when they want to implement something new with data. And the reason why is because we think that data is very important these days. It's even a competitive advantage. And yeah, without data, you're just another person with an opinion. We have also discovered through our experience, and it is true, that in a company you can want to do many things, but what you can actually do, there's a very small overlap between the two. If you don't actually know what's going on in your company, if you don't actually analyze the data that you have. Whereas if you do and you make decisions based on concrete data, concrete information, the overlap between what you want to do and what you can do increases a lot. So this is why we are passionate about data and helping companies fix problems or deliver new solutions with data. Talking about solutions, so what do we actually offer? As I said, we want to empower IT and we want to empower business users. We work with some software vendors who we believe are the best in their particular domain, and I will talk about these domains. And we have chosen them because we think that they have got it. So, for example, talking about the basic layer of data in a company, it is the data integration. So a company has a lot of data sources, as we have files, cloud. Some companies might have data from the internet. Some companies might have data living on their servers. You need to integrate all this before even thinking of analyzing it. For that, we work with a software vendor called Verscape. Verscape is a data integrator. Among many things, they automate, not entirely, but they automate a lot the process of data integration. And this comes back to giving people the right tools. So instead of having a developer team of 10 people, you can have maybe a developer team of 2 people with Verscape. And Verscape automates a lot of repetitive and high volume tasks, so that actually the team members can concentrate on high value tasks and not high volume tasks, and tasks where really human input is necessary. The next layer of data in a company is, okay, you have an integrator, but where does this integrator put the data? Where does this integrator store the data? For that, we work with Snowflake. Snowflake is a database vendor. They sell a database in the cloud. They have created a, I think it's a proprietary structure to store and analyze data in the cloud. You pay as you go, as with many things in the cloud. So you pay as much as you store and as much as you analyze. So it is very easy for companies who do not have a big IT department or who do not want to inflate their IT department to have people managing their databases and then sizing it up or down according to use. Just have the database do it for themselves. So again, we are giving people tools that reduce the repetitive high volume work, and just the team members have to do the high value work. Once you have your data integrated and stored somewhere nicely, you want to analyze it. And for that, we work with Tableau. It is a visual analytics tool, quite popular. I hope many of you have heard about this one. So it is almost a drag and drop solution to analyze your data visually, but it goes much beyond drag and drop, and you can configure it a lot depending on your use case. Again, we think that Tableau is in its particular space, so data analysis. We also work with a company called DataRobot. DataRobot is a company that operationalizes machine learning. So the problem with many companies who want to put in place some machine learning in their analytics chain is that a machine learning project remains a pet project of someone. And when that someone leaves, the machine learning is gone. They have no idea how to recover what this person did. They have no idea how to actually put in operation what this person did, how to monitor it, how to keep improving it. So this is where DataRobot comes in. Again, it does not remove the need of a human. A human is always needed to configure the machine learning algorithm, because it's the human who has the business knowledge of and who asks the questions. But DataRobot takes care of, again, repetitive high volume tasks for you, so that the human can concentrate on high value tasks. And once you have done all that, there's the governance part. So in a company, it is also very important to implement some kind of data governance. It is very different from research, where obviously everyone is welcome and encouraged to look at any data possible. In companies, it is usually not the case. And you need to restrict data in some cases. You also need to have policies to make sure that people are looking at the correct data. So you have to certify data so that people do not make decisions based off of data that is not correct or that has not been validated, and so on and so forth. So for data governance, we work with a company called Global Data Excellence, GDE, and they have a platform that makes it easier for you to govern the data. And we will talk about data governance later. So Argusa works with all these solution providers to help companies deliver more with their data. This is almost a repetition of what I've just said, and I've spent a lot of time on the slides. So just to repeat, we have Airscape as a data integrator, Snowflake as a database where we store data, then Tableau and DataRobot to analyze and machine learning, and GDE, Global Data Excellence, for data governance. I want to give you an example because this is quite high level, and I've chosen to give you two examples with Tableau because it's a visual analytics tool and probably a lot of people have heard about it. So what we would do normally in a company, in a concrete setting, is we would usually start with trainings, because if you implement a tool in a company and the people of the company do not know how to use the tool, you have zero adoption. They don't like to feel uncomfortable around tools. So we would start with trainings, and then we would implement the tool for them. Then we would help them implement some kind of a governance strategy. So this is the third point. Once you have all that, you still need adoption. You need people to make the tool their own. And for that, community is very important. So we can organize Tableau days and activities like that, so that people can feel comfortable with the tool, talk to others with whom they will not talk naturally, so as to facilitate exchange around the new tools that have been implemented in the company. And then, of course, at the end, there's still some technical work, like I have mentioned, Tableau server, which is the technical part behind the visual analytics of Tableau, and we offer also services on how to manage Tableau server to the companies. So this is an example of what we would do. For example, for a company who wants to implement Tableau in their environment. A concrete use case that we have recently done with a very big multinational. We cannot name companies because of the non-disclosure agreements we have with our clients. But this company has, it makes more than $1 billion every year. And it's a very big company, and they wanted to implement an official reporting solution and visual analytics solution within their IT department. So we were basically working with their BI lead, so business intelligence lead, and this person had the humongous task of doing this over 15 sites in different countries. And again, as I said, in companies, data governance is very, very important. So she needed to ensure absolutely that the rules of data governance were respected. And at the same time, she also wanted to ensure that people adopted the new solution, because, you know, if you have such a solution and you have invested millions in buying a new software and then people do not adopt, not really good for the IT team. So we were working with Adele, and the team, Argusa team, consisted of 3 people over 3 years. And we trained them. So we trained the business people of this company to use Tableau. More than 200 people were trained. We helped them with the deployment of their Tableau server. We helped them animate a community within the company. We organized a lot of Tableau days and like other small events, other small workshops. We even implemented some dashboards for them. So not only say, okay, we have trained you and now go do whatever. No, we sit with them. Sometimes we coach them. Sometimes we implement them ourselves, implement the dashboard for them and then show it to them, and then they can learn how to do it. And of course, at the end, the conception and implementation of a governance strategy for all the data that was now available to everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of business users in the company. So after 3 years, again, I cannot quantify a lot because of the non-disclosure agreements, but I can tell you, I can assure you that the Tableau platform is going very well in the company. A lot of users are trained, and a lot of users, even more users, want to get trained. Their Tableau server has more than 700 dashboards. 700, it's a lot, and these are like curated dashboards, so not everyone is allowed to publish because of their strict data governance policies. Only certain people are allowed to publish dashboards. They have to be validated, and they constantly monitor and throw away dashboards that are not used. So 700 is a lot of dashboards that are actually being used in a company. So this is an example of how we would concretely implement a project at our client. Of course, we would do that with other tools, but I'm not going to repeat the same story over and over. Since we work very closely with the client, and since we have quite some experience between our team, we also realized that there was a big problem with the data availability. Whenever you want to implement a project, we ran into the problem. And the problem was that sometimes you do not have data available, the relevant data available when you want to implement a project. So taking the case of Adele, this baby, if she wanted to implement a dashboard because she wanted to show her boss what we could do, at that time, she did not have the data available. So this results in her project timeline being affected because she cannot deliver to her boss what she promised. Obviously, loss of money, financial loss for the company because she has engaged consultants, us, who are sitting there and who do not have data to work with. And so we cannot make dashboard, she has to pay us. So we have encountered this problem many times. And we thought, well, why don't we do something about it? So we went ahead, we actually did a lot of research, but we did not find the right tool to do what we wanted to do. So we created one at Argusa. So this is our own product. It is called Make Your Data. And it literally does that. It makes your data. So it's a standalone software that helps you generate data based on some rules that you want to give, so that you're not blocked by this absence or temporary unavailability of data. So yeah, I think I've shared everything. So this is generating data is called synthetic data in the field. And yes, why would you need synthetic data? Because of confidentiality reasons. So maybe some companies have such strict policies around the data sharing that they cannot share it with consultants. And fair enough, but then how do consultants actually develop a product that would use the data? So this is a big problem. And then just actual lack, because if a company wants to implement something totally new, a totally new application within their company, well, since it is new, there is no data. Literally, there is no data. But how do you develop an application and an analysis over the application if you do not have data for it? So Make Your Data responds to these two challenges by either generating synthetic data, so literally data out of thin air, or hiding information that you want to hide. So I'll just quickly go through this because you may be thinking, oh, I don't know what she's saying. But if you look at people like Gartner, who do reviews of trends in BI and other fields, you see that data science is there, and it is going to actually reach the peak of inflated expectations in a few years. But it is definitely a trend that exists also in other fields, because people need data. to train their machine learning models, for example. So there are many use cases where you just need to create data out of nowhere. So yeah, Make Your Data does two things. One is it generates data, synthetic data. So you just give some rules. So let's say I want to generate sales data, and I don't know, I sell in Europe, so I will generate some sales data in European cities. That is one example. You can say that I have 3 products and I sell them in European cities. Generate that for you. It has a lot of custom options, etc. And then the other thing Make Your Data does is to mask data. So as I was saying, that sometimes companies cannot share data with external consultants because they are not allowed to share data. So in order to hide this sensitive information, what Make Your Data can do is you give it your initial data set and tell it, okay, I want to hide this information. And it will just you. There are many ways to mask it. You can choose to like totally destroy any information, any statistical properties. You can choose to keep some statistical properties of your data but hide sensitive information, and so on and so forth. So it is highly customizable. And for data masking, it is also important that you can actually go back to the original data. So suppose you gave your data to an external consultant, they found something in your data and you want to investigate now, you have masked it, you don't know what the data they're talking about. Well, Make Your Data gives you a mechanism to actually go back from your masked data to the unmasked data. Of course, if you have the encryption key, which you will have because it is your data. So more details can be found at our website, argusa.ch/makeyourdata and KYD. So since I've talked about customers, these are the final set of slides. I think this is what you were looking for. We work with a lot of industry verticals, healthcare, not healthcare, insurance, manufacturing, services, transportation, energy, etc., etc. And again, our goal is to help them deliver more business value with their data while respecting how the internal dynamics of the company work. As I said, buying a tool is not the answer to everything. The implementation of the tool is also as important as the choice and the buying of the tool. And I was on the slide, I could have just said that. We are 7 people at the moment. One is our CEO who has 25 years of experience in BI. And then the rest of us are mainly from academic backgrounds. 5 of us are actually from CERN. We have a PhD and we used to work at various CERN experiments. And one of us has a master's in mathematics from EPFL. We are all certified on Tableau. I should update this slide because we are also certified on almost all the other technologies we offer. Certification is something that we offer to all our new colleagues because we think that this is a good way for them to gain expertise and also be confident, because once you have passed certification, you can be sure that you have at least this level of expertise in the software tool that you're talking about. There are 4 values on the right of on the right of the screen, and I think I want to talk a bit about them because this has to do with hiring. When we hire people, we tell them that these are our values, and it is true. Like, we live and breathe this. These are not just words. I think if the CEO were here, they would also reinforce my point. Excellence. We, as I said, we give time to our colleagues to train themselves and to get certified if they want, or sometimes they have to. But we anticipate and exceed the expectations of our clients. We are so small, we are 7 people, that we do not have a marketing department. Our only marketing is the work that we deliver. And this is how we deliver something to one client and they talk to other people about our work, and then the other people hire us, and so on and so forth. So the excellence of what we deliver is very important. Creativity, thinking out of the box. It is also something that we encounter every day. Yeah, there's a lot of information out there on many of these software tools. But sometimes what you have to do is connect the dots in a way that have not been connected. So a lot of what we do is Googleable, you can search, but there comes a point where you actually have to use some creativity to, I don't know, merge two solutions that exist on the internet to make it your own, or take a bit from there, take a bit from there, and maybe think of something of yourself to deliver what the client has asked for. Simplicity, again, I think it was Einstein who said things as simple as possible, but not simpler. And this is what we do. We try to simplify stuff for our client because the IT landscapes of companies are becoming more and more complex. You have no idea. So we try to manage the complexity for them and try to give them pragmatic results, and not a table with 1,000 columns of options. We try to manage the complexity of the problem for them. And of course, in trust, since we deliver excellent projects, the customer trusts us. They obviously talk to other customers about us, which is good. But also we have a usually a very, very good relationship with our customers, and it comes from trust. And obviously the trust comes from the fact that first we have demonstrated, as in my colleagues of Argusa have demonstrated that we can deliver what we have said. So it's very important. So, all these values are totally related to each other. Just a few things about Argusa to close the talk. We are certifying ourselves for ISO 27001. It is a certificate that that means that we have within our company processes in place to deal with data in a way that complies with these standards. We are also sponsoring Data Plus Women. Data Plus Women is a platform that has been created by Tableau. And I, along with my colleague Joanna, we run a chapter of Data Plus Women in Geneva and Lausanne. The idea is to highlight women in BI and data kind of fields, and to dispel the misconception that there are no women in data. There are a lot of women in data. We also participate in pledge, where 1% of our benefit, yearly benefit, to a charity or any other organization that it could be even a communal library that is in need of funds. So we pledge 1% of our earnings to such a project. And yeah, finally, we are in just near Lausanne. And I hope that I've convinced you that it is a good idea to join us. And for that, you can take a look at our website. We post regularly, or you can just note this link. Thank you. Thank you, Simona, for the invitation.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Fatima. This was very impressive presentation. I didn't realize that you are a team of 7 people. So, wow, well done. I was wondering, how is the work organized? How do you work as a team on all the clients that you have, or do you have your portfolio of the clients that you are their only contact person, let's say?
Okay, so usually actually we work independently. So it is, usually it is one of us who works for a client and not in a team. But let me say this: the Argusa team is always behind. So if the person who is working has a specific question, a specific problem that they cannot solve alone, obviously they write to us internally, and then all of us try to answer to them as fast as possible to solve it. But yes, usually it is one person. It is very rare that there are 2 people from Argusa on the same project.
Could you please say a few words about the work environment and conditions, such as home office policy, fringe benefits, salary ranges?
So home office comes up a lot. So already, work environment, as I said, the person who enters Argusa, they are first given the time and the tools to certify themselves. That is the first thing. So you are not thrown away to a client just like this. You will get time to build your competence and get help from others. So the work environment, in my opinion, is really good. And believe me, I work for the other companies. it is very, very good in terms of the fact that our boss sees the company as a team, and it changes the whole dynamic because he does not see you as employees. He sees you as his team. That makes a lot of difference. So the work environment is, we give you all the tools to train yourself, to certify yourself, and then we expect you to deliver excellence at the client. So we hold you to that as well. Home office. It depends on the client. Argusa does not oblige you to go to a client, but since we are out of COVID, thankfully, some clients are now we come to their site. So it depends on the client. I don't know if the new person will will get a client who is still 100% remote, or they will get a client who is now 100% on site, or it can be a mixture of the two. So I cannot really say. Fringe benefits and salary ranges. What I can say is, again, having worked for other companies, what we offer is in line with the market.
Okay.
Can you work for the company when not based in Lausanne? No, we would want you to be here, because if you have a client who requires you to be here, then Argusa does not want the responsibility of relocating you at that time. You have to relocate yourself.
Then I see another question about how strict is the B2 French requirement. We already discussed about it a little bit before, but I'll let you comment on that.
Unfortunately or fortunately, it is very strict. I don't know how many people we are not able to hire, even though we like them a lot, just because of this. Please learn French. Please learn French.
Yeah, if you have an opportunity at CERN to ask for a French course, then go for it while you still have time.
No, the thing is, our clients are French speaking, you know. So again, being a very small company, we cannot really afford to now have the logistics of, this team member does not speak French, so we cannot put them on this project. But everyone in the team has to speak French, full stop.
Okay. And then there is another question from Vasiliki about that you mentioned some specific tools like Tableau. Is it the showstopper if you have zero experience with these specific tools, or do you have to know how to use them very well at the time of your application?
No, it is not a problem if you have zero experience. As I said, we give people the time to build the competence and certify themselves on the tool. So usually the first couple of months that a new team member joins us, this is what they are doing. They are learning about the tool and getting certified. So the zero experience is not a problem. The problem is first the French, and the second, the attitude. I think this is, by attitude I mean the attitude to really constantly learn. And we think that we have it, at least from my experience at CERN, from my experience being a physicist, I thought that I was learning continuously, which is true. But the thing is, in a business setting, you have to do it so fast. You really don't have weeks. What I had to do in weeks, maybe in my life as a physicist, I now have to do in days or day. So it is the attitude to accept that this is the case and get on with it. This is what the blocker is, I find.
Okay, and so basically maybe also related to this is a question, what are then the required skills? So, okay, you were mentioning the attitude, but when it comes to, let's say, technical skills, what are you looking at?
Well, we are looking at ideally someone who knows all the tools I mentioned. I think the required skills are more the soft skills, the attitude, than hard skills, because hard skills you can learn.
Okay.
I can give you the tools and the training to learn the hard skills, the soft skills, the attitude, the ability to deal with discomfort. Because obviously, once you have a PhD and everything, like you face yourself with a problem that you cannot solve. Well, what do? Do you find it uncomfortable and just totally unbearable, or are you okay asking for help? Being able to ask for help is a skill. especially when you think that, you have a PhD and you know a lot, which you do, but you don't know everything. So I think the required skills are soft rather than hard.
Yeah.
Hard you will learn.
And then how do you assess them during an interview? What is the recruitment process then? Like, is it more behavioral questions so that you can assess these competencies that you are mentioning?
Okay, so the recruitment process, I can tell you very quickly. The recruitment process is we ask, since I'm in charge of it, this is my department. We ask people to fill a questionnaire where we ask some generic questions just to understand. It is not a filter. Everything is just to understand. Ask them about their competence, for example, on Tableau, on SQL, if they have any, or if they have any beginner, advanced, whatever they think their competence is. And then based on that, we give them a test, which we give you a virtual machine, you connect to it, and you have 3 hours to do this. Again, it is based on your level that you claim that you have. If you have 0 level, we give you a test that corresponds to 0. And then we also do a personality test, but again, nothing is a filter. Everything is to understand. And then obviously, if someone says, well, I'm advanced in Tableau, and then they suck at the test, they are out because they lied. And I have had these cases, so please do not lie on your application. Again, don't do that. But after all these 3 steps, we do a Zoom these days. We used to see. We do a couple of interviews on Zoom, and then if it is still a good match, we have actually an interview face-to-face in our offices. But during the process, again, what we are trying to understand, it is to understand the candidate, honestly. It is not to judge them. What we are trying to understand is this person aware of their limitations? Can they ask for help? Are they uncomfortable when they are out of their comfort zone? And actually, are they also consultant material? Because some people are not. Some people are more developers. And we are not looking for developers. We're looking for developers who are consultants as well, if it makes sense.
Yeah. So there is a question if actually the work is more suitable for a software engineer, or what sort of profiles you are searching for now?
Pure software engineer, I would say no, because you also have to be able to face a client. Your work is usually very highly visible. It is not a small piece of code that you created and that will go in production 3 months later. Usually it is visible like tomorrow. So your position is very, very exposed. So the ability to deliver fast to a client and justify what you've done and how you've done it, I think if you're a pure software developer in your soul, that is not the role for you.
Okay, thank you. And I see there are several more questions in the chat, so we can maybe now switch from the recruitment process to the company itself. So like, who are your competitors, and are all your customers based in Switzerland?
Well, who are our competitors? I would like to say we don't have them, but unfortunately we do. No, I can tell you. Our competitors are obviously consulting companies that are much bigger than us, that can gain contracts because they are much bigger than us, honestly speaking. It's not because I am Argusa that I'm saying this. We have seen it many times. We deliver way more quality than our competitors. But it's just that because of their size, they sometimes win contracts that we don't win. But in that sense, consulting companies are our competitors. And all of our customers are in Switzerland. I would say for the moment, yes.
Perfect. And then coming back to the discussion that we had about the home office, there is a question whether, apart from when you have to go to the client, if the meeting is not remote, if the rest of the time you can basically telework, if there is some sort of flexibility with that.
If the client does not require you to be at their site, from Argusa side, there's no requirement. But in order for the team to function well, we still try to see each other. So we have an office, and people can, they can basically book the office, and then usually 3-4 people decide that this day they're gonna work together from the office because it's boring to work from home. But it also helps to build the team. So what we do not want is like to have a team member with whom we have not had coffee. As I said, our boss does not see us as employees; he sees us as the team. So in order to build the team, you also have to invest in making relationships with other team members, even though you don't work on the same projects.
Yeah, makes sense.
So we try to see each other at least a month and maybe a bit more.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if anybody else has any more questions. I was wondering, since you are a small company, if it's easy for you, or if it's even possible to accept applications from people outside of Switzerland and outside of the EU or Schengen zone.
So no, we can only accept applications from people who have the right to work in Switzerland.
Okay.
So they're either Swiss or have a passport that allows them to work in Switzerland.
Okay. And then maybe just to hear from the perspective of a CERN alumni, what was maybe the biggest change for you when moving from CERN into the industry and maybe directly into Argusa? What did you have to get used to?
I think that what I thought I could do in weeks, I had to do in days. And it is no longer like your small project that runs on your computer. It's what you do is really exposed. Other people will use it. So it cannot break. No, I mean, we have a lot the habit of like coding like a physicist, as in, it's going to run on my PC. Who cares if I've hard coded a path to, my desktop? Well, this doesn't work in a company. So yeah, thinking that my work is exposed to other people, many of them, and working, so thinking on my feet and delivering fast. And you can do it. It's just that you need to change a bit your mindset.
So maybe then from your perspective, is there any advice that you would give to our CERN alumni who might be applying to Argusa, like either in terms of the application or how they should prepare or something like that?
Well, I think be yourself is my advice, because as I said, our recruitment process is not set up to judge. It is set up to understand. Because also remember that recruitment for us is it costs us, and we are a small company. So we do not want to spend time on, with candidates with whom we don't have a match. So our process is based on trying to understand you. So be yourself, because as I said, we've had people who have lied to us about their expertise, and it comes out in the test, it comes out somewhere. There's no need to hide something about you. And if it is a match, it is a match. If not. The only thing I would say, and we were just talking to someone about this, please learn French. I don't know how many great CVs we have had to reject because of this.
So right now, Luca shared that there is an opening for, it was, I think, BI consultant, right?
Yes.
And normally this is a one position, or you are willing to, let's say, if you have several people who apply with whom it's a match, that you would be willing to hire more people?
Oh yeah, we are always hiring. I mean, you can go to this URL and you will find our job posts. We are always hiring.
Okay. And do you also accept spontaneous applications?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I wanted to say a huge thank you to Fatima for the presentation and for answering all the questions. And thanks to all of you also for spending this hour with us. And we hope you get a better idea of career options that are available to you at Argusa. Thank you once again, Fatima, and I wish you a nice weekend, and I hope you find some nice CERN alumni who will apply to Argusa.